Hi guys, this is Kaylee from Educanine Training Services. I wanted to make a video and talk to you about how you can use all of your food stuffing toys to beat some boredom that your dog might have while you're home right now. Of course, I'm sure that they're very happy that you're there with them, but you also need to be able to work and have them be quiet. So I'm going to go through a whole bunch of toys that I have that you can stuff and show you how you might be able to do that. We'll start with the easy stuff and move on to things that are a little bit more elaborate. So first, of course, is your Kong, your classic Kong. That is something that is really versatile. A lot of people have these, but maybe you don't necessarily know how you're supposed to use it, and you end up making it too easy or too difficult for your dog. So if your dog is new to using a Kong, what you can do to make it really easy is, first of all, you can just put some kibble inside and let them roll it around and get the kibble out. Something I like to do to make it slightly harder is just spread a little bit of kibble around or a little bit of peanut butter around on the inside, put my kibble in, and shake it up a little bit so that it sticks to the side walls with the peanut butter, and then we can cap it off with a little bit of peanut butter on top. And at the end, what you might want to do is freeze this, and that makes it a little bit more difficult for them. So that is your easy recipe, just some peanut butter with your kibble inside that you shake up and it sticks around in there. So that's an easy one. You can also use your canned dog food for the same purpose. So you can go ahead and put some canned dog food in there. You could fill the whole thing with canned dog food. Instead of adding regular kibble, you could put some treats inside as well if you wanted to. I'm going to put some kibble inside with some wet dog food, and then this way this is not a super sweet treat like it would be if we were putting that peanut butter in there. But to get them started, maybe you'll still want to cap it off with a little bit of peanut butter. Be a nice mom and add some sugary snack to that. So there's your next one. This one is mostly with your canned dog food and also a little bit with your kibble. Something that you might not realize is that you probably have a lot more Kong stuffing toys than you think you do, or food stuffing toys than you think you do. So I'm going to use this. This is from Westpaw, the Zogo Flex. It comes with another, a smaller version that you can twist on the top to make it really hard for them. And what I'm going to do with this one is we're going to do a little like sort of cookies and cream, let's call it. I'm going to put some yogurt in there. Chobani makes this nice squeezable yogurt that you can just squeeze it right on there. I'm going to get a whole bunch in there. And then I have a bunch of dog biscuits that I just chopped up, and I'll put those on top. This is one of your fancy recipes. So again, you can let them have this as is, or you could freeze this. I'll probably freeze this one just so that there aren't cookie pieces going all over the place for me. Trying to make it a little bit cleaner in my house. So there's some cookies and cream with some yogurt, and then those cookies on top and falling out. Something else you can stuff that's really interesting and unique are the Whimsies dental treats. So they make the alligators that are hollow. They also make the hedgehogs that are hollow on the inside. So for the hedgehog, maybe I'll take some of this canned dog food and put that in there. And then again, I'm going to freeze all of this stuff so it lasts a little bit longer and can cut down slightly on the mess that my dogs may make. Okay, so I just took the wet dog food, canned dog food, and put that inside of the Hedgie, and I'll freeze that for them later. And we'll talk about freezing them soon. Something else that I like to use are these cooked bones. You can get them pre-filled already and then let your dog, you eat the pre-filled stuff. But then they are reusable because you can go ahead and restuff these with some peanut butter. Again, freeze it, restuff these with some peanut butter and put them in the freezer, and then you can give those to your dog when you go away. Put them in the crate with them. It's really easy. Just take your knife and scoop a bunch of peanut butter in there. Fill that bad boy up. Depending on how quick your dog is going to go through these, you could end up needing a few. They might be really, really fast, or this can end up being a treat that kind of lasts them for a half an hour or more. Just depends on your dog. So bone filled with peanut butter, we'll pop that one in the freezer as well. So some of these other things, I'm not going to stuff every single one for you, but some of these other things that you might not have realized can be food stuffing toys. So this is a little from USA Canine, a little grenade shaped toy. So you could potentially put some kibble in there, just and let them work on it to let it fall out. You might not necessarily need any peanut butter or any other thing to stuff in there because this one is pretty hard for them to get the stuff out. You can also put treats in there as well. So they would just have to roll this around and shake it or throw it, and then that would come out. This is from the BarkBox. If you get the BarkBox, this also can function as a Kong, so you can put treats or kibble in there. You can put the yogurt, peanut butter, whatever you'd like inside, and then stuff it and freeze it. I'm gonna put one of these Happy Howie's sausage things in here, and I'm gonna make this one super simple. So I'm just gonna put it in there. And it's right there at the end. And then I'm going to cap it off with some peanut butter to make it a little bit harder for them. They kind of have to work on this a little bit more. And then I'll freeze that as well so that that little cap of peanut butter is frozen. But this will be much quicker of a treat. These you can also just put kibble or treats inside for them to roll around and get those out. I have a couple of toys that are longer. So this is again from USA Canine, also has a closure here. So I might put something like a bully stick in there, a long bully stick, and do the same thing I just described. Pop that bully stick in, cap it off with some peanut butter, or use one of these sausage treats and cap it off with some peanut butter, and then they have to work to get that bully stick out. So let's do this. Cap it off a little bit, pop that bad boy into the freezer as well, and now they have to work on that a little bit more. These longer treats, this is from, or toys, this is from Kong. You could do the same thing in terms of stuffing some of these things in here. That one goes all the way through. So you want to cap the bottom when you do that, and you can stuff that in there. Or you can fill this with treats and cap both sides, treats or kibble. The same as if you were using your regular Kong. We'll cap that side. I'm gonna put some, let's put some treats in this one. Get some variety. I have some Zooks treats. These are a little bit bigger treats, which can make it harder for them to get it out. I'm gonna put a bunch of those in there. And then I'm gonna cap the top as well. And probably because I love to freeze all of these things, I will just end up freezing this, so that it just lasts a little bit longer and also cuts down slightly on the mess. So a couple other things. This is also from West Paw. This is occasionally, if you can find a treat that will fit inside, you can sort of poke it in there. This, I could just poke these on both ends and not necessarily put anything else on the inside and make them have to work to chew this off and pull it out. You can also fill the inside with that wet dog food or peanut butter, or I wouldn't say yogurt, that's a little bit thin, but any of those things as well. This came in our BarkBox as well, and is supposed to be a food stuffing toy, puzzle toy. So there's a couple ways that you could use this. You could stick that bully stick through and cap it, or put some peanut butter around it to hold it in place. You could put some of these in as well, sort of wedge that in there so that it's harder for them to work on. Okay, so you can use the little grooves, and then if you want to lock it in place, you can put some peanut butter and that'll make it just a little bit harder. I found that these, the treats fall out pretty easily because the holes are so big. So this is something I'd rather do, which is put a bunch of these treat sticks and a bully stick inside, and then put some peanut butter all around it to lock those in and make it a little bit more difficult for them. My dogs are patiently waiting for me to finish this tutorial, so I will give them all of these things. Nobody's gonna eat out of a bowl today. So sometimes people think this might be like excessive. Oh my God, there's so much peanut butter, there's so much this, there's so much that. But the truth is, stopping our dogs from always eating out of a bowl is going to help them with some of their natural instincts. So searching and foraging, digging, or trying to work at their food so that it's not so easy for them to get to it, and it adds a little bit of mental stimulation. So mealtime doesn't necessarily have to be just eat from a bowl and boring. You can make it a lot more interesting for them and make them have to work for it, and that provides that mental stimulation for them. All right, so last one, this is that I have here, is another Westpaw toy. I bought this years ago, not really realizing that it was a food stuffing toy. So you might have one of these and also have not realized it was a food stuffing toy either. So you can take any of your spreadable type stuff. I'm going to use canned dog food for this one. I'm using a lot of peanut butter. So I'm going to put some canned dog food in the well here. And then I'll probably take one of my tiny bully sticks, so I have different sizes, and pop that right in the top, and again freeze it, and then that way I can give that to them with a little bit of their healthy dog food, but also with a little bit of a treat as well. So there's another one where I filled that well up with the wet dog food and added that bully stick. So there's a lot you can do. Honestly, the sky is really the limit when you're thinking about these food stuffing toys. Kong themselves has a website where they will give you recipes, and I used to be super fancy and make things like their carrot cake recipe, which was, like shredded carrots or pieces of carrots and yogurt or cream cheese, a little bit of graham cracker crumbs on top. You can make also pumpkin pie in a similar way. So if you're looking for more resources on what to put in there, Kong has a wonderful website. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about real quick, not a food stuffing toy, but still a food toy that you can use, are these lick mats made by Hyperpet. I'm obsessed with these. I absolutely love these lick mats. They can be slightly difficult to clean, but mostly I put them in the dishwasher, and that gets a lot of the stuff off of it, and they have certainly survived the top rack of the dishwasher. So anything that you can put on that is spreadable will go on this. So I usually put on a variety of things. So here I'm going to put some canned dog food on part of it. I'm going to put some peanut butter on part of it. I can also use this squeezable yogurt. Squeeze a little bit of that yogurt on there and spread it out. And just for something a little bit extra, I'm going to put on some coconut oil for them. The coconut oil is melting a little bit. All right, so then you can freeze these up. I put some plastic wrap over top of it and then freeze these, and then they can work on them. Something I do with my lick mats, you could think about doing, but it really depends on your pet, is I have these, you probably can't even tell, a little hole here that I poked into the top of the lick mat. I got some fasteners from the dollar store, and I put those on and put this on their crate when I leave them. So I use this frozen lick mat with the fasteners. I put it right on the crate door or the side of the crate, and then I give that to them when I leave them. Now, I know, as you can see, they don't rip these up. I know my dog's not going to try to rip up this silicone mat, but if you are not sure whether your dog will be able to rip it up or whether they would want to rip it up, then you should always be supervising them with any of these things. But it has become a really good solution for me with my own dogs who don't do things like that with these lick mats that I can just put the little hooks here and fasten them onto the crate walls, and then they can lick at them while I'm away. So that's something too. And then I can, of course, give them a variety of things. I can give them some healthy stuff on it. You could, let's see if we can get some of these cookies. So you could sort of sprinkle some of those cookies on there. This is Stella and Chewy's freeze-dried raw food. So what I'll do is I'm going to take this and crumble it up and just put it like little sprinkles on top of the lick mat. Again, if you're freezing this, it'll all adhere and stick, and you won't have an issue with that coming off. Pat these down a little bit so they stay on there. So then that becomes also an extra little treat for them. Okay, so these are ways, just some ideas that you can use your food stuffing toys to make things really interesting for your dog, make meal times a lot more interesting for them so that they have to think about it rather than just scarfing their food down and being done in 5 minutes, and then it's no longer, it's time to entertain them again. So they can entertain themselves with these types of toys for quite a while, and they're relatively easy to make. If you think about meal prep for yourself, think about meal prep for your dog instead. That way you can have some longer lasting toys, especially when you are going to be home from work and you need to still work from home and you need your dogs to be entertained a little bit. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. If you want to know where any of these products are from, I'll put up an Amazon list on Canine Enrichment, and that'll have some of these products for you as well. Some of your local pet stores should have a few of them. Everybody usually has a Kong. So at the very least, you can get that classic Kong, and there's lots of ways to stuff it. Okay, thanks for tuning in.